Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, that is communication skills. Many a time we think that when we are talking then only we are communicating, but in reality it is not correct. We communicate all the time even without realizing, whether when we are chatting with our friends over the phone or posting a story on Instagram, we answer any question in the class or we write an email. Even if we are waving goodbye to someone or doing posters for an event, we are communicating. So what is communication? Communication is a two-way process in which ideas, thoughts, feelings or opinions can be transmitted between two entities in the form of a message with the intention of creating a shared understanding. This is our communication model. Here a sender wants to send a message to the receiver. The message is encoded in such a form that it passes through the channel. Once the message is passed through the channel, it is decoded at the receiver's end. When the receiver receives a message, it gives a feedback to the sender. Feedback is very important process in this communication model, as from the feedback the sender understands that the message is received properly. A communication is always a two. Before we move further, it's very important to understand why we need to communicate, why we are communicating. The main purpose of communication is to give a message. But in real form of life, there are many specific need of communication. So let's discuss it. We communicate to inform something or to instruct about something, to create awareness about a product, an activity or any event. So for creating awareness we use communication. To express our feelings and emotions we need communication. To influence or persuade others we communicate. To promote an action and increase efficiency. To imagine, to develop relationship among a team or others. There are several reasons for the need of communication. These are few basic examples of communication. Perspective is our point of view, what we think about a particular thing. It is the way we look up at things, people or situations. Perspective can definitely affect communication. If we think that a person is a teacher is very serious, so you generally hesitate before going to them. Okay, so this is our perspective. So this perspective will definitely affect your communication with that particular teacher. So our perspective affects communication and becomes hurdle or barrier in the process of communication. We are now going to discuss different types of barriers in communication. First is semantic barriers. Semantic means confusion created due to the words used by the sender and then misinterpreted meaning of those words by the receiver. Semantic refer to specific meaning of word. Misunderstanding of a message can occur when the word used convey a meaning different to the one presumed by the person communicating. Just an example, if an employer is very good in English, he passes order in English, but employees are not very conversant in that language. Okay, so what will happen? The communication process will not happen properly. So or the other situation can be that employer is very good in the good knowledge of English, but he may lack knowledge of regional language. So then here also his language will become a barrier in the communication. Second one is many other these as you can see on the screen, these all are some examples of semantic barriers, like words with different meaning, faulty translation, translations, unclarified assumptions, denotion and connotations, technical diagrams like I am speaking, voice is not clear, so you will just assume that I am saying this. Bad expressions, these all combinedly make semantic barriers. Then we are having some emotional or psychological barrier, and it hamper communication. If the sender is angry or the receiver is upset, the message could not be can be conveyed wrongly and understood incorrectly. If I am in a bad mood, you are giving me a positive feedback also, then I will say I am doing this many work, and then also no one is satisfied, so I will not take your feedback properly, and the communication channel will not happen properly here. Okay, this is your prejudice barriers. You think about someone, like I have given you example of perspective. Prejudice is also the same. If you think that at your home, if a Tauji is very serious, he don't talk, he's very stern, so what happens that you don't go to him and talk. Okay, one fine day you decide, okay, आज बात कर लेते हैं, then you went there, you had a word with him, then you find that he or she is very sweet, charming person, full of stories, then you feel good about him. So your prejudice was hampering your communication with him earlier. Okay, gender barriers are very common. Not only social issues are there, but apart from there, men and women have different ways of thinking and communication. So here this also becomes a barrier in the communication. Then your visual perception barriers are also in. How you take a visual perception, it plays a very vital role in communication, because it relates to our ability to make sense of what we see and interpret it. Okay, like in a class, a teacher is teaching 40 students. Okay, but then some feel that this chapter is very easy, very good, and some really get confused. So at that point of time, how your visual perception were to understand that topic that is working there. Suppose a person is showing you way to go to a particular place. Some find the sign language very easy. Okay, यहाँ से जाना, and some still get confused. Okay, what you are telling? So this is your visual perception barrier. Then we are having some environmental barriers also, like noise or disturbance hamper the communication. There are certain personal barriers, like some are having lack of confidence, some habits after communication. You pay to selective attention, lack of knowledge, lack of vocabulary, lack of listening skill. That's why I always emphasize on speaking in English, because until unless you don't speak in English, you will not enhance your vocabulary. So this also play a hindrance, because you will become out of words when you are speaking. Certain cultural barriers are also there, in some reasons, thumbs up is a sign of encouragement or very good. We give from thumbs up, and in some culture, if you show thumb, so they will take it as you are insulting me. Okay, so this also becomes a barrier in communication. For an effective communication, there are many prerequisites that must be fulfilled. A message that is conveyed must be clear, consistent, and adequate. It should grab the attention of the receiver and producer. The desired result for the language chosen, appropriate body language, correct facial expression, tone of voice, all come into the play. To communicate effectively, understanding the audience and its requirement is also extremely important. So we have to take care when we are communicating. Now let's discuss some types of communication. There are 4 types of communication: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, visual communication, and written communication. Verbal communication, as you can see in this picture, when we speak, to communicate comes under verbal communication. It is essential most communication model, as we use speech or spoken words to share information. The factors that contribute while communicating verbally are the choice of words we take, the tone, the clarity, rate of speech, the pitch, the volumes of one's voice. It's not only the language we choose, but also its delivery that makes us a good communicator. There are certain advantages of using verbal communication. The information passes instantly. It is the most widely accepted method of communication. Effective persuasive tool. No material is required. Immediate clarification is available and you get instant feedback. But as we all know that words are not sparrows. Once they have flown, they cannot be recaptured. So there are certain disadvantages of verbal communication, like it's difficult to remember long verbal messages and communication, no permanent record for future reference, greater chances of miscommunication and misunderstanding is there, no legal validity of such kind of information, no scope of correction. As one said, it's over, you can't correct it. Irrelevant information is usually creeps in. Suppose I want to give you information about how to conduct an exam, but I end up telling you how to prepare for an exam. So maybe while communicating we distract from the main topic and we take up some other topic and focus more on that. So irrelevant information also creeps in. Then now let's discuss non-verbal communication. As you can see from the picture, non-verbal communication is done without the use of words, either verbally or written. Both are not used here. It is non-linguistic transmission of information that takes place through visual, auditory, tactile and kinesthetic means. Okay, now this is very important topic that will help you in future when you will face a interview, or you are conducting a meeting, you are doing a presentation, or when you are talking to an audience. There are certain verbal mistakes that we do, we can correct on that, but many a time when we are facing an interview or we are conducting a meeting, it's not only the language that we are using. Our body language speaks more than our words. So we have to take care of our body language when we are in a meeting. So there are certain body language mistakes that we do knowingly or unknowingly. Okay, so we should correct that. Many of us loves to sit like this, arms crossed in front of the chest, but this is not a good body language sign, as crossing one's arms is a clear sign that a person is close to new ideas and is disinterested in an ongoing activity. It gives the message that you say whatever you want to say, I'm really not in a mood to listen. Exaggerated gestures with hand. Too much movement of hand is also not a good sign, as it is annoying and distract the listener from the actual matter of conversation. Fidgeting and touching the face. Some people have quick soft covering their mouth or holding their chin while talking. These gestures along with restless fidgeting convey lack of confidence and clarity. Next one is avoiding eye contact. Avoiding eye contact is an attempt to hide something. When you want to hide something, you don't do eye contact, like social awkwardness, interest or attraction. Often people avoid eye contact or exaggerate eye contact when they are lying. So we should and that also shows your confidence. When you are making eye contact with the audience, you are talking face to face to them. Okay, so this is avoiding eye contact is also not welcomed when we are talking. Next one is slouching or Leaning express lethargy and it shows lethargy and lack of energy and lack of interest. Okay, so when you are talking, you should have confident shoulders, square shoulders, walk with confidently. This kind of sitting postures are not welcomed. Stern and not smiling. A smile is the easiest way to earn friends and smile is the easiest way to earn friends and confidence. A smile is endearing, whereas a stern look is intimidating. Along with that, if you can make eye contact with our audience, then you can definitely win them over a large extent. But you should make eye contact, but you have to remember that you should not stare at them. Okay, last but very important one, there are many but we are just discussing these. Checking the watch or mobile phone. Technological advancement has given us one of the biggest distraction, that is the mobile phone. It is not good or taken as rude to check one's mobile phone or watch repeatedly while communicating. So these are such few common body language mistakes that you should avoid or check yourself when you are doing this. Now let's discuss advantages of non-verbal communication. Why non-verbal communication is good? You can instant communicate with no wastage of time, demonstrate enthusiasm and confidence, can be used for people who don't know how to read and write. It's very easy to present, good suitable substitute for a verbal message, and sign language that we use in non-verbal communication helps differently abled people. There are certain disadvantages also of non-verbal communication, that like lack of clarity and precision. It cannot convey long and complicated messages. The scope of misunderstanding and misinterpretation. There is no permanent record of this kind of communication. At times it's difficult to follow hand gesture, facial expression, body posture all at the same time. So listed are some disadvantages of non-verbal communication. Let's discuss now visual communication. Communication through visual aids using symbols, images, charts, graphs, drawing, videos, animation, graphics, PPTs, anything that you use for communicating your messages comes under visual communication. It grabs the eyes of the audience very easily and they remember it. That's why many a time we focus more on visual communication. Next one is written communication. As we all you all are school going students, so you all know the use of written communication, where we use it when you are writing any assignment, examination paper, homework. We are sending you messages, instructions, order, request, notice. These all make up written communication. It is the best form of communication for business transactions, for any mean where you need to have some records. It is the best mode of communication there. It is offering some great advantages like permanent record you are having, clarification of messages easy, can be shared with many people, ideal for legal matters. Certain disadvantages also of written communication, like it is very expensive and time consuming, costly as it uses pen and paper, immediate clarification or feedback is not possible, delays in taking decisions, and lack of flexibility. So I hope you all have understood the types of communication.